Blah freaking blah. What's going on, guys? It's Eric, blah freaking blah. Thank you for joining me. It is Monday. Monday. Weekend's over. Welcome back. Before I jump into today's stories, I want to let you know that I listened to you guys in your comment section, and I wanted to clear something up. See, in previous videos, I've talked about buying, rather than doing a hardcore boycott of Marvel comic books, I would say find legacy books, graphic novels and whatnot. And a couple of you guys were like, screw this, screw that, straight boycott. I'm not buying legacy. And that was like a cosplay, just disses were rolling off the tongues. I was like, wow, okay, well, that's cool, And for a while, I thought that this meant that you guys were just done with Marvel. It didn't matter what. And commenter Kev Rules 06, thank you for your comments, man. I really appreciate that. I appreciate all you guys commenting. Please keep that up. Comment anytime on any video. I will do my best to respond to you, but I always read them. It's actually occurred to me that I probably ought to save some of the material that I put in comments into other videos, and that may be what happens in the future. You guys keep bringing up a topic, and if you want me to talk about it, talk about anything, post that in the comments. I'm always writing down the ideas now. So, Kev Rules 06 said that he talked about it in one of his videos. So I went to his page, and the name of the title of his video is Marvel's Legacy is the House of Someone Else's Ideas. And I agree with that. But what I didn't realize was Legacy was, for all intents and purposes, a ripoff of Rebirth. What I meant by this was I just meant the older stories. Like, to me, that's Marvel's legacy, right? The Jack Kirby, the Stan Lee, even up to the Todd McFarlanes and the Eric Larsons, and, back in the day before his politics ruined everything. So that's what I was talking about supporting. I was not talking about anything new Marvel was putting out. Because my personal opinion on Marvel is until they change that core leadership creative team structure that they have, they're not going to change. They might surprise me, and I would be more than willing to be surprised by them. I would hope I'd be surprised, but I'm not expecting it. Certainly won't be holding my breath. So I hope that clears up any confusion. So that's what I meant. And the overall point being, you can make a statement to Marvel by actually buying the good stories, the good books, the things that you remember, those trades you never really went and picked up that you always meant to, that kind of thing. Keep the doors open while also sending a rebuke. But having said that, the more I've looked into Marvel, the more I've realized that some of you guys have been putting up with this stuff for years. I was out of the game. I've been out of the game for a little while. So I'm catching up on the Dan Slott antics, the Nick Spencer antics, the, disappointing the hell out of me Brian Michael Bendis antics. I really liked Bendis' work on Daredevil, and and even a lot of his Spider-Man, his Ultimate Spider-Man stuff. So I'm catching up, and I'm like, oh, now I see. I see why you guys are so pissed off, and why some of you guys are just like, I'm done, because every other quote I read from Dan Slott or Nick Spencer, I'm like, yeah, I'm done too. And I was like, oh no, wait, hold on. The open mind is open by like an inch now. I haven't completely closed the door on Marvel, but it's close. Now, am I buying anything new? Not yet. You guys have recommended some cool stuff, but quite honestly, what has my attention right now is Rebirth. You guys have just sold me on Rebirth, and I've not gotten into it yet. But when I heard that the whole Button storyline that outsold Secret Empire, Batman and Flash, that outsold Secret Empire, Nick, was connected to Flashpoint, I was like, well, that's ironic, because the last DC graphic novel that I bought for the hashtag Boost Your LCS thing that happened this past January, I'll put a link to that video there. I actually went and bought the first DC book I've bought in ages from my local bookstore. It was Flashpoint. And a lot of that was because of, I wanted to see the roots of what was happening in season 3 of The Flash, and the roots were definitely more substantial than the Bush that the Flash TV show put out, but I still like that show. It is my favorite comic book show right now. But yeah, so hopefully that clears that up. I will probably be looking into that next, and I will let you guys know, just like I did with the Descenders review, if I stumble across something that I think that you guys really should check out. And always, let me know in the comment section down below, what's the new cool thing you've got? What have you discovered? If you guys do video reviews or anything, or talk about this stuff, post links to those videos. I don't know if YouTube will do that, but let me know that you have a video, and I'll click over and I'll watch that. But thank you guys. All right, so that's out of the way. Done. Okay, I hope that clears that up. Sorry for the confusion. Oh, I was just ignorant and didn't know. So while we're on the subject of Marvel Legacy, I stumbled across this article. And this comes courtesy of comicbookmovie.com. It's an editorial. Why Marvel's Legacy event is already doomed to failure. And in this article, they actually kind of touch on what I just said. But I'm going to read a little bit through and give some comment as we go. Buckle up, here we go. It starts off, at the risk of sounding like a broken record, it's no secret that Marvel Comics hasn't exactly been the pinnacle of fan appreciation over the past few years. And much of the same could be said for DC. And I remember that. I actually forgot about that, how DC went through this huge period where they just couldn't do anything right. Since the dawn of the 2010s, the big two have been in something of a strange place. In 2011, DC launched the New 52. Holy God, has it been 6 years? Wow. You guys. Somebody do some science and find out why time is going by so fast right now. Moving on. Which was met with criticism and praise on all fronts. It was met with from me because I wasn't reading it at that time. Meanwhile, Marvel had just wrapped up the Siege event and were launching what they dubbed the Heroic Age. Over the next few months, it seemed as though Marvel was set to hold the top spot over DC for years to come, as controversy after controversy struck the DC fan base from out of the New 52's main story arcs. Then there was a gradual but seemingly very sudden shift of focus within the Marvel universe. The Heroic Age became Avengers vs. X-Men. AVX became Marvel Now. After that, fans were being sold the same tagline with every event Marvel would be imminently releasing. This is going to change the landscape of the Marvel Universe forever, ever, 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 ever. That's my fake reverb. This was said of Inhumanity, Secret Wars, All New, All Different, Civil War II, Death of X, Inhumans vs. X-Men, Monsters Unleashed, Spider-Man, Clone Conspiracy, Running with the Devil, and of course, most infamously, also most recently, Secret Empire Strikes Back. The happenings within these events undeniably had potential to deliver on the tagline that they were being sold on, whether it be changing the universe for years to come or having a profound effect on a particular character. The main problem was, and still remains to be, not once were the consequences of these storylines ever given a chance to affect anything at all. Currently, Secret Empire Resurrection, with an X where the T should be, yes, they spelled it like that, and Clone Conspiracy are all ongoing events at Marvel. That's a blanket event for all the X-Men and Inhuman titles, a blanket event for all the Spider-Man titles, and a major crossover event for literally every other book set in the canon Marvel Universe. Even some of Marvel's Star Wars books are in the middle of an event right now. A term has been coined for what Marvel has done over the past few years: event fatigue. I don't know about you guys, but to me that's pretty spot on. I mean, that is just an overwhelming buttload of just bleh. These massive trees they build, they have no roots, none. They blow away by the winds of the editorial team. And I'm going to put a link in the description box below because I don't want to read through this entire thing. It is a pretty good read. So if you guys are interested to see more about this, check out this guy's website. I want to go on record here, and I've said this before in one other video, but I feel like it bears mentioning again. The main point here in this guy's article was that Marvel Legacy is going to do squat with with the same creative team in place. It's not gonna work, and it's not gonna work. I completely agree. I think a lot of you guys do too. And if you don't, that's fine. Like I said, there's nothing wrong with you guys buying Marvel and enjoying it if that's your thing. But I hope that they change. I hope that the Disney execs finally get wind of this and boot these guys out. Especially, and I say this, I don't like anybody getting fired. I don't want anybody to lose their job. But sometimes people are just a poison pill. The whole batch is just getting just messed up. Axel Alonso, I think, should get the biggest axe. You need to get rid of him. Because there's a reason why these hardcore leftist propagandists, basically what they are, the ideologues rather than the creatives, are being handed over the biggest titles on Marvel. And there's a reason for this. They like what they're doing. And as long as this is still in place, calling it Marvel Legacy, going back to the old numbers, which for the record I always said they would do, isn't going to matter. It's not going to save it. The real reason that Marvel Legacy and you have all this event fatigue is because Marvel is solely interested in quarterly gains. Period. The reason why you have all the reboots and the number ones and the new storylines, aside from quote unquote keeping the titles live that no one cares about, is number ones sell more. And as long as we keep falling for this, and comic book fans in general keep falling for this, it's not going to change. Until they keep trying it and it suddenly starts failing is the only time that they'll start paying attention, because this is done to boost quarterly profits. It is a corporate strategy. Now, sometimes fandom and the corporate strategy can go hand in hand. Sometimes you can get more of a good thing. And, like, hey, I've got more of a good thing. That's a good thing, right? You pumping them out and you just, you're in hog heaven because you're getting more of what you like. Unfortunately for Marvel, this strategy has not done well because the quality and the craftsmanship of the books they're putting out has suffered a great deal. And it no longer matters about telling a good story, about establishing good characters. It's all about a radical agenda, and it's all about corporate profits. It should be in reverse. It's about corporate profits and radical agenda. So that's my 2 cents on that. Read the article. Let me know what you think about it in the comment section down below, and let's move on to the next thing. What do we got? Oh, you know what? Let's do this. So recently, I don't know if you guys saw this, but it was awesome. Dan Aykroyd ate Paul Feig. He did. So let me give you some details here. This coming from Deadline.com. Dan Aykroyd blames director Paul Feig for Ghostbusters reboot and says it cost too much. And it was glorious. I love Dan Aykroyd. He just eats him alive, and I'm going to play this video. I'm going to actually put a clip on here and see if I get a copyright strike. Hopefully not, because I hate disputing things. But I have to let you guys see this because the face, Dan Aykroyd's face in this is priceless. It will more than likely be the thumbnail. I mean, look, he was just, do you see that face? He is so satisfied with himself. He's like, it was all like, I dare you to say something, Paul. Dare you. Try it. I want to, he's like, I just ate you, and I'm going to go back for seconds. Don't you, I mean, you could just tell that Dan's got the power in Hollywood. Paul is a bit-time player compared to Dan. Dan Aykroyd's awesome. I love Dan Aykroyd. I grew up watching Dan Aykroyd. If there were a fist fight between these two, Dan Aykroyd would just eat the man alive. His Paul Feig with his smug look and his glasses and his hair and his suit. I mean, boy, it does look snazzy. And we'll see if any of this remains to be true. We'll see. We'll see if it's just trash talk on Dan Aykroyd's part, because it's Dan Aykroyd. Could just be trash talk. But the funny thing is right after Dan Aykroyd did this, there was an update, and it says Sony Pictures has refuted Dan Aykroyd's version of events, saying that the reshoots he referred to actually cost between $3 and $4 million, not the $30 and $40 million Aykroyd described on Britain's Channel 4 earlier today. They didn't even lose a day responding to this. I mean, they spun this thing in a few hours. Now, Deadline goes, that does sound like a lot of money for reshoots. But what they're not considering is that dance number. That dance number alone that was supposed to be in the film and was so stupid and so out of place they just slapped it into the end credits cost millions. Millions. So there's no telling what Paul Feig actually shot that had to be scrapped and replaced. You know, all told, it wouldn't surprise me if the wasted money was in the tens of millions. And look, let's be honest. I did a review of the Ghostbusters film, and I'll put the link to that here. And I did my best to pick out everything positive that I could in that film. And I was very nice, and I was very cordial. And it did give me a warm, fuzzy feeling to see Dan Aykroyd and Ernie Hudson in that film, to see them on the big screen after I've not seen them, either one of them, in so long. I would say Bill Murray too, but that role sucked. It was disrespectful. It was not funny at all. It just sucked. And you know what? That movie sucked. The goodwill that I had for it, and thinking that, you know, Dan Aykroyd's getting paid for this. The original, the OG guys were still getting some money off this because they own the rights to it. I was like, that was the only salve I had to buying that movie ticket. There were some good points in the film as far as CG goes, and you know how it was technically done pretty well, but it just didn't make sense. A lot of it wasn't funny. You know what? I just need to get off this movie. If you guys want to watch my review, it's up there. Check that out. It's actual video review, so you get to see my bald mug. But yeah, to me, Aykroyd's being generous. He's saying, you know, I mean, this is probably the bare bones of why it wouldn't get done, but at the same time, it's like, well, it sucked. I mean, nobody liked the movie, so why would they actually do it again? You know, they have the whole Ghostbusters division over at Sony where they were trying to like expand the franchise. Everybody wants to make everything into Marvel. It's enormously annoying. It's hugely annoying. You know, Universal's wanting to make their monster universe now with all the Frankenstein, and starting with Tom Cruise's The Mummy that's coming out this weekend, which is going to bomb. Money's on the table. It's going to be a huge financial disappointment. And I think I'm going to do a video for what movies I think, whether or not they deserve it, are going to bomb this year. So far, I've been right with a couple of pretty easy to call movies, but I just want to see, I want to get it like on video and see if I can embarrass myself a lot or actually nail a few of these. But I don't think The Mummy is going to do that. I don't see there being a giant need with audiences for this movie. I mean, I'll go see it. It's probably a good, fun movie. But will they make an entire like universe out of this thing? It's just that people are trying to make universes out of everything. Everything. Sony's trying to make their Marvel universe, and got the Monsterverse here, Ghostbusters verse. I mean, it's just, y'all stop. Not everything is Marvel. Not everything needs to be Marvel. I like good, smart written stories that kind of interconnect together, but it's just not. Just stop. Just stop. So anyway, Dan Aykroyd, good on you. I just like seeing Paul Feig get the smugness slapped off his face every so often. Okay, moving on to the next thing. What's the next thing we're going to talk about? Next thing we're going to talk about is... All right. Next up, we have a rumor, ladies and gentlemen. A rumor. Sony Pictures looking... So I found a typo in the subject line. Sony Pictures looking create an all-female superhero team. I think they should have put a 2 in there, looking to create an all-female superhero team. Do you want to know what I read when I see this? You want to know what I read? From the studio that brought you the all-female Ghostbusters comes the all-female superhero team. Doesn't that give you a warm, fuzzy feeling? Yeah, me either. So, piggybacking off of the Ghostbusters news, we have more news from Sony looking to create their Spiderverse, which, of course, as we all know, will now start with Venom. Unless Sony screws this up, I've done a video on this. We can listen to that, where I postulate there's a good chance Sony could screw this up. It really is. Because they've... things are looking... Okay, so let me backtrack a bit. Sony lost almost $1 billion last year. they had to write down $1 billion from their film line. And so far this year, they have not had a good run of it. Movies like Life and Passengers have greatly underperformed, and to me that's almost kind of a shame because they're trying to make highbrow original science fiction films. And we're not showing up, or at least not enough of us are. And it's a shame. It's a shame because while I have no, empathy for Sony necessarily, because they've done some wacky stuff, I hate to see them lose $1 billion. Especially when they're actually trying to make some original films. So hopefully their stars will look brighter with Spider-Man coming out this year. I personally don't want to see The Dark Tower fail, but I believe it's going to. I think their other potential hit this year is Baby Driver, which looks amazing. If you've not seen the trailer for that, go to the trailer talk playlist on my page and look at that. I think it looks fantastic. It looks like a lot of fun, and I think that Sony may be turning that corner. However, they don't seem to have much of a plan for their Spiderverse. But I digress. Let me read into this. The article reads, "Men have dominated superhero films for years, but women are starting to fight for spotlight with a vengeance." Yeah, that's new. Wonder Woman debuted this week, and I'm thrilled. I haven't seen it yet. It's just killing me, but I haven't seen it yet. I am thrilled that it's doing so well. I am thrilled at the reviews. I am glad. I was really hoping that Warner Brothers was going to nail this out, and you can hear my review of that trailer where I talk about a little bit about this. Let's go ahead and write another one here. There you go. Watch that if you feel so interested. But I'm really thrilled. I'm thrilled that it's doing well. I'm thrilled that I hope it's as good as everybody's saying it is. I am purposely pushing the bar down so that I don't let it be overhyped. That is a habit I recommend for everyone to learn. Push the bar down when it starts getting overhyped, just so you're not disappointed by a really good movie. So it says, if one rumor is true, then it looks like Sony is working to create an all-female superhero team for fans to enjoy. Yay! Over on Splash Report, the scoop-friendly website recently wrote about a tip one of its insiders submitted, so take this with a grain of salt. The source claims that Wonder Woman's unprecedented hype has led Sony to go all in on a new team of superheroes. With Wonder Woman opening this week, it's a pretty good bet Sony is taking universe-building tips from Warner DC. I'm going to dissect that in a second, but I'll keep reading here. Silver and Black is the setup for an all-female Spideyverse team movie. And I think I've heard about this before, actually. I don't think this is the first time this rumor has surfaced. It ends with Silver Sable, a la Nick Fury, rounding up a team of the Black Cat, Jessica Drew, Spider-Woman, Charlotte Witter, Stunner, Sarah, I don't know how to pronounce E-H-R-E-T, Ert, Jackpot, and Cassie St. Commons, Dusk. I don't know why I can't pronounce names lately. I don't know. It used to be something I was fairly good at. I guess it's just talking to you guys. I'm nervous. I don't know. Of course, there is no confirmation from any studio about this new rumor. Now, we all know that Sony is quick to jump on some things when it ain't true or they're trying to spin it, so take that for what you will. Sony is busy working with Marvel Studios to launch Spider-Man Homecoming next month. And they might not be ready to say anything about this. Behind the scenes, the studio is also overseeing development on projects like Venom and its Black Cat Silver Sable film. That's what it was I was thinking of. If Sony is really looking to create an all-female superhero squad, the studio will take its time to announce said plans. See, what worries me here, and I've got an open mind. I will always keep an open mind towards movies. I will check the trailers out. I will gauge my interest. I will see how I feel about it. This isn't a woman thing. It's a character thing, and I just don't know. It's kind of like Elektra. Elektra was a terrible movie. I don't know how many of you guys have seen it. I mean, maybe it's enjoyable now for its some B-movie schlock stick. But is there anybody really clamoring for a Black Cat Silver Sable film? I hear crickets. It's kind of like the Catwoman movie. Now, granted, they messed that one up completely, but it did. I don't even remember if it opened big. I don't think it even opened big. I just think there are certain characters like Wonder Woman had decades and decades and decades of being established in a core character, and yes, it's about time we got a movie, but that character has earned that place. Has Black Cat? Now, the smartest thing that they can do here is not play a political maneuver. Sony, you've had enough of those. Please stop doing this. Black Cat should be introduced into maybe the Venom film or another Spider-Man film. Gauge audiences' interest. See if they want more of this character. And as far as this all-female team, they're really putting the cart before the horse, trying to say that Silver Sable is going to just set up this entire female team. They just, they were going to do an all-female Expendables back when the Expendables was super hot. And I would have loved to have seen a female Expendables. I'll be honest, because I like that kind of movie. Go up there and see girls just whooping ass for an hour and a half, 2 hours in Expendables fashion. Stallone would, of course, been in it somewhere. I would have loved that. But that's me. I don't think a lot of people would have dug that. And I think that's part of the reason why the movie never got made, aside from Expendables 3 bombing. But let me know. I want to know what you guys think about this. I mean, is there excitement out there for this that I just don't see or feel? And it's cool if it is. If I'm completely wrong on this, let me know. I'm okay with that. Don't give me a dislike. Give me a like, but just let me know what you think about this. Are you excited about this? Or do you think right now, I do not have the confidence that Sony's going to pull this off. If they're doing it just to coattail Wonder Woman, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. If you can find a good story to tell, it will work. I didn't think I was going to like Iron Man. I'm on side, say this on the side, and then I'm on wrap it up for the day. But I really, honest to God, guys, I did not think I was going to like Iron Man. I didn't care about the character. I thought Robert Downey Jr. sucked. I mean, seriously, pre-Iron Man, his movies were, aside from Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, were awful. I mean, they were just, he had that part in the Fugitive sequel with Tommy Lee Jones, U.S. Marshals. And he was good in that. He was okay. But he just, I guess at the time he just couldn't get anywhere. I liked the guy, but I just didn't like his movie. I just thought, like I said, I thought Iron Man was going to be terrible. And look where that got. It was, I went in and got completely blown away by that movie. I was just floored at how good it was and how much I enjoyed it, and think I want to go see it again. But I say all that to say that maybe that's this. But the difference between this and Iron Man was the reason I was saying, I don't really, I was talking with people about Iron Man. I was talking with people, and they were like, no, it's going to be great. He's perfect for Tony Stark. I'm like, he sucks. His films aren't that good. It's like, why would they pick him? I was like, and Jon Favreau? Really? The guy that directed Swingers? I think at the time I hadn't seen Zathura yet. I've learned my lesson. And I think it's wonderful to see all these independent guys coming off of these tiny movies and making these gargantuan films and doing them just fantastically. I mean, the structure they've set up for making these movies now is just a well-oiled machine. But anyway, guys, that's my thoughts. I thank you for hanging out with me this time. I'm going to try to set up a schedule for you guys so it's not as much of a guessing game as to when I'm going to put out videos. I tried to do daily. Life, kids, work, etc. So, and I want to eventually have a mobile studio set up, and that requires money, so it'll take me some time to get this up. But I'm going to try to have a mobile system set up to where wherever I am, if I have a spontaneous thing, I can do this. As of right now, I'm tied to a disc. But Monday and Wednesday, look for podcasts to be put out on Monday and Wednesday. And then on Tuesday, on the rest of the days of the week, there will be snippets of podcasts, or there will be little quick one-offs from me, like something I've seen that interested me. So let me know what you guys want to talk about. Post your comments down below. If you're new here and you've hung out for this long, God bless you. Thank you for hanging out. Make sure you hit that subscribe button for more videos. I'd love to have you hanging around talking. I mean, there's a lot of great guys in the comment section for these videos. Chat with those guys. A lot of you guys have channels. Let me know about those channels. Let each other know about those channels. I love the community that's getting built. I love the sharing of ideas and thoughts. You guys have been wonderful. And if you like this video and you want other people to join the conversation, please feel free to share it. And I thank you for all of your support. So until next time, guys, I will see you on Wednesday.